hello because we're live. Good morning and welcome to Bettina's Buzz on SantaCruzVoice.com. Technology is a wonderful thing. We had to double check some buttons and repush some buttons, but thank you everyone who's listening for staying with us. And if I got a phone call, thank you, Serna, for calling, and a past encore show was Susan O'Connor Fraser was playing, so thank you for that.
Well, that was a good show. Fun to call.
Thank you, Susan, for being a great guest then and a great guest today. And in studio with me this morning, like I already planned, okay, you guys, I already knew I wanted the perfect guest, Mr. Bill Wolverton from our own Good Morning Monterey Bay here on SantaCruzVoice.com. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, and thank you again, Serna, for calling. You know, we've been doing a lot of technical things here in the studio this morning. Bill and I have been together since 10 a.m. working on our Podbean. Bill's been helping me get Bettina's Buzz online for listeners to be able to access at any time. So that's really exciting.
On demand, we call it. So they'll be able to find it in all their favorite spots in just a few hours.
And that's really exciting.
Just one episode so far. The middle school teacher.
The Raina. Yes. And it's just so, I just so thrilled to have Bill here because I learned so much. You can never stop learning. And especially with technology, and Bill has a history of teaching computer science, and it's really a good thing to know the right buttons to push, and and if you don't know the right how to stay calm, backtrack, reset, regroup, and then do it again.
You know, I never thought about this till now, but a fun thing would be to learn how adept my former students are with technology now. Because I think I gave them a really good background. I taught kindergarten through 8th grade. And I want to see if I gave them a good head start, how they're doing today.
I bet they're doing really well.
I have no way of knowing.
That would be good. So if anybody had Bill Wolverton as an instructor in computer science.
This would have been at Holy Cross School.
Contact the station.
Bill at SantaCruzVoice.com. Tell me what you're doing.
And tell Bill what you're doing.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be cool because look at the things I'm doing.
Yeah.
With his tutelage and instruction.
Well, later today, if your computer's up to it, you'll be able to put up this broadcast as your second
I'll be able to put
podcast.
This. And what's even amazing is in spite of everything, I still have over 30 minutes with you, Bill.
Oh, good.
Even starting late.
That's perfect. Oh, yeah, and thank you to your daughter.
Oh, yes, thank you, sir. She's my number one listener.
Serna, explain the name to me.
Serna. Serna is a Serbian word, and it means deer, fawn, like baby deer.
Oh,
so
nice.
Like someone's a Serna. So Serna is a Serna.
Yeah.
So it all made sense. And good morning to my mom, Gloria, who's listening, probably going, I know she left to have a show. What's this recording one? She's heard them also. But anyway, good morning to you both, and good morning again, and thank you, everyone, for listening. And one thing Bill and I were talking about, which you may have missed, is we were talking about the Vintage VW show, car show that he went to a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I wandered from our station here, our studio, down to the end of the wharf on another beautiful day. And they had bugs and beetles and trucks and buses and dune buggies. And it was just fun to stroll around, and some of the owners were there. You could talk to them. They were happy to talk about their cars.
People love talking about their cars. We know that from Bettina's Buzz. I go to a lot of car shows. I broadcast live from the Concorso Italiano and the Carmel Valley car show, and Bill was at the control for me during those broadcasts, so I knew my show would go off without a hitch, and I had great guests.
I don't think I told you, but while we were doing that together, I was online looking at pictures of the cars you were seeing, and those were beautiful cars.
Absolutely gorgeous.
I've more often driven a beater than a nice car because I don't mind them so much, hand-me-downs and that kind of thing. So a lot of my cars haven't been like the cars you were looking at.
None of my cars have ever been like the cars I was looking at.
I've had a couple of nice cars. I drove a Jaguar for a few years, and that was a nice car, but I don't have that one any longer.
But I have, I've loved all my cars.
Yeah, I've loved mine.
They've gotten me where I needed to go, and that's the most important thing a car is supposed to do. So
now, I know now your car's name Sentra, is that right?
Sentra. She's a Nissan Sentra, and I call her Sentra. I've had a Chevrolet Spark, and her name was Sparklet. And then when my daughter was really young, I a good friend of mine told me of a friend who was selling their old Volvo, an orange Volvo, and she came with the name Vivian, which is actually a family name. So
Vivian the Volvo.
Vivian the Volvo. So I think cars drive better with names.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my truck now has a name.
So, yeah, Lily.
Lily, the white truck.
The white truck.
Yes.
And you were saying that your mom named Lily?
Yeah, my mom named Lily. And I don't know why with certainty. My guess was she's Lily White, so she's Lily. But I don't know.
You can't ask your mom. But you do remember I was complimenting Bill on his Pizza My Heart T-shirt that he has on. It's very cool. It's got some really nice graphics.
Yes, I bought this lunchtime yesterday. And the reason was because my mom was fond of them. And as she faded from dementia due to Alzheimer's, one of the things she did not forget was Pizza My Heart. And when I would show up at her home wearing a Pizza My Heart shirt, she would react and say, "Oh, I like Pizza My Heart." And she forgot a lot of other stuff, but she always remembered that for some reason. And that's a fond memory of mine. So I wore them there more often than I wear them anywhere else. So I have a collection now.
That's a very nice memory.
It is.
And as I said earlier, I'm sure your mother's looking down saying, "Oh, Bill's wearing another nice piece," because that one's really cool. We're going to take a quick break here on Bettina's Buzz, and we'll be right back with Bill Wolverton.
Santa Cruz Voice is joining with Think Local First and Community TV for a Listen Local First celebration of our new studio, Thursday the 24th from 5 to 7. Come meet, mix, and mingle as we stream live radio and TV, enjoy eats and treats, and make lots of new friends. It's our Listen Local First open house, Thursday the 24th from 5 to 7 at 325 Soquel Avenue. Listen Local First on SantaCruzVoice.com.
When you need help managing your estate, call on the Angel.
Hello, I am attorney Angel Hess, and I am ready to help. Whether you need a will or a trust, a guardianship or a conservatorship, or if you are managing the financial affairs of a loved one, I will help you with over 7 years' experience working in estate planning and probate fields.
When you need help, call on the Angel, attorney Angel L. Hess at SantaCruzLegal.net.
The Hook is California's first ever cannabis outlet. 100% locally owned and operated, we're here to be your friendly neighborhood hookup. We believe that everyone should have access to fairly priced cannabis, so we work hard to get it to you for 30 to 50% less than the other guys. If you're 21 or older with a valid ID, visit us in Capitola or in Watsonville today. We're here to be your friendly neighborhood hookup. Check out our website, hookoutlet.com, for deals and stay groovy.
You need a clean, pleasant space to conduct business, but you don't want the burden of a long, expensive lease. Your solution is Satellite Co-working and Digital Media Studio on Soquel Avenue. Satellite offers private offices, meeting and conference rooms, even co-working by the hour, day, week, or month. Schedule a tour at SatelliteCoworking.com. Mention Santa Cruz Voice for 20% off your first reservation.
Hi, folks. How many of you out there love to garden? Wouldn't it be nice to grow some of your own food? Or maybe a flower garden would brighten your day. All you need is the Knox Garden Box, a heavily constructed, portable, elevated garden on legs that can virtually change the way you've gardened in the past. The Knox Garden Box can be set up anywhere. Yes, you can place it right on concrete at KnoxGardenBox.com. That's KNOX, gardenbox.com.
Support Mountain Community Resources at the 39th Annual Mountain Affair, Friday, October 25th from 5 to 9 p.m. at Highlands Park Senior and Community Center in Ben Lomond. Enjoy fine cuisine, local wines, live music, and a silent auction, all benefiting vital services in the San Lorenzo Valley. Brought to you in part by Santa Cruz Voice. Get tickets at communitybridges.org/events.
Welcome back to Bettina's Buzz on SantaCruzVoice.com, and with me in studio, Bill Wolverton of Good Morning Monterey Bay, right here on Santa Cruz Voice. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning. We should tell them what's happening on Thursday.
Tell everyone, Bill.
On Thursday, we are going to have a celebration of our new location here at Community TV. That's in the Satellite studio on Soquel Avenue, 325 Soquel Avenue specifically. And from 5 to 7, we're inviting people to come meet the hosts, see the facility, meet the people from the facility. Think Local First is going to be here. You can meet them as well. And we're going to have a taco truck, and we're going to have live music.
Tacos.
And we're going to be broadcasting on television. We're going to have a ribbon cutting celebrating our new location.
I love ribbon cuttings.
Well, you're in the right spot then.
Ribbon cuttings, they're just exciting.
Well, that'll happen sometime between 5 and 7.
They symbolize a start of something.
Yeah,
a
exactly.
Good energy, a new beginning. So
Yep.
ribbon cuttings are exciting, and you see those big scissors.
I will bet there will be big scissors.
I love the big scissors at ribbon cuttings. I really do. So when is that again, Bill?
That is from 5 to 7 this coming Thursday.
And
the
is
24th.
everyone invited?
Yeah.
Everyone's invited. And another good reason to come is not only do you get to meet the voices here on Santa Cruz Voice and people from CTV Satellite Digital Media, where we are located, so come by and meet everyone, but you could end up being a future guest.
Yeah, you could be a guest. You could be a host if you're a digital creator and you want a location to create something. This is it, man. They've got editing studios. They've got a whole television studio if you need that, but they've got smaller spaces if you need that too.
It's a great space. It's
Yeah.
a wonderful space and very comfortable.
Yeah, I see several faces that have become familiar to me in the mornings when I see them doing their work. They got their heads down. They're talking to their team who's somewhere else. I don't even know where, but they're doing their thing here in a quiet, secure space.
And it's just a stone's throw from right downtown Pacific.
Yeah, we could just about... we could hit the river with a rock from here.
We should have a contest after the show.
Oh, what have we started?
Who can hit the river from here? So, Bill, what do you love about doing Good Morning Monterey Bay with Rosemary?
I think part of the reason I like it is I listened for so long. I've listened to the radio station we used to be on, and the show is the same as it was then. At 7:35 each day, we do the Good News segment, where Rosemary picks 1 or 2 or 3 stories that just are what that says, good news, things that make you happy. And I used to remember if I got to the high school, dropping my son off, right when that came on, then we were on time. And the familiarity of it to me, I think, is part of what I enjoy, because it's still true. We're in a new spot now. We're online rather than on terrestrial radio, but it's still us. It's still the show, and it's still 7:35 when we do the good news. It's still 6:35 when we do the trivia. It's still Mondays when we have Mark Mazzina on with us. You were asking me who was one of my favorite guests. You were saying this before the show. We have a lot of good guests and a lot of good interviews, but he's our science guy. He's a science advisor to Congress, and he just knows so much, especially about space. That's his specialty. And so it's just fun having a science nerd telling us about things going on in space. And he's got the inside scoop.
And he's got a good way of explaining and telling things, which I think that's a good quality of any type of nerd. Like you.
That's true. He can make himself well understood.
Because you're a computer scientist. I depend on you, as I've mentioned, to help Bettina's Buzz go smoothly here as I stream and have my great guests. And you're excellent at explaining things and helping me to understand and feel confident in what I'm doing. And that's an asset.
Now, you call me a computer scientist. You think I'm an actual computer scientist?
Well, in the sense of, in my terminology.
I'm teasing you. I am. I studied computer science. I have a degree in it.
Oh, you do have the degree.
I do, so I'm sorry for teasing you.
Yeah, okay. You can tease me.
I went to college, and then
it's
I worked...
11:36. I'll let you...
I worked in my field, and then I wanted to go back to college, so I actually went twice. And the second time...
Remind me again where you went to college?
Both times it was UCSC. And the second time, I studied computer science.
What did you like about UCSC?
The classes were small enough that you could go and talk to your instructors. You didn't have to talk to a TA in most cases.
Or a robot.
Even when it was a large class, the instructors seemed to want to make time for you. And that was really special because we had some pretty high-power instructors there who really knew their thing. And yet I could get in and talk to them. And that's not always true at a university. I also went to UC Davis for a while. And that was a little less true there. There were somewhere you had to talk to the aides. You couldn't talk to the professors. But for the most part, that wasn't true there either. And it was just a beautiful school. I walked everywhere. And they have beautiful footbridges that go over valleys between classroom buildings. It's a lot changed. It's a lot more built up now. But I think you'd probably see fewer deer and more cars. But it's still a beautiful place. Mm-hmm. And my brother went there, my sister went there, and my mom went there. So
you've got a whole tradition.
Yeah. So we've got 5 degrees from there, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it is a terrific asset.
So what's it like working with Rosemary?
Well, again, I listened to her for a long time, so she was very familiar to me.
Is she easy to work with?
Oh, yeah. We have a good rapport, and she's fun, and I genuinely enjoy being with her, and so it makes the job easy. If we didn't get along
it sounds
outside
like
the
you
studio,
get along.
Yeah, because we get along outside the studio, too, so it wouldn't be possible, I don't think, to pretend to get along with
that was
somebody.
one of my jokes. I said to myself, I was saying, well, Bill won't be with Rosemary on Bettina's Buzz. So
True.
So,
but you and I get along well, too.
Yes, and I'm working on becoming maybe even more of a favorite. You never know. I have a competitive spirit. So, and in reminiscing about shows, I must say I've really enjoyed all the guests that I've had on my show. I was trying to think if I had a favorite, per se, a favorite of who I've enjoyed. But one of the biggest surprise guests, I must say, that I asked and he agreed was former Mayor Willie Brown when he agreed to give some time on Bettina's Buzz, and I will be asking him again, and I hope he'll agree. But that was quite a wonderful surprise, and I will say he was a great guest. And
did he talk about a purple suit?
I don't remember per se about the purple suit. When I get it up on the podcast and online, I can re-listen to it myself
go back and see.
And hear it. But he spoke about a lot of great things, and we reminisced when I was a student at the Academy of Art College in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah, I recall.
And when he was mayor, and that was in the late 90s when I went to the Meet the Mayor Day and asked him to come and pose for an art class for Mr. Craig Nelson. And he did. And that was quite a good memory that we were able to share. So that he was a favorite guest to have on the show.
It's good you said a favorite, not the favorite. And I was careful to say one of my favorites, because you shouldn't have a favorite child.
No.
You shouldn't have a favorite student. And you also maybe shouldn't have a favorite guest.
I don't think
unless Neil Armstrong comes on or something. But we regularly on Good Morning Monterey Bay have State Senator John Laird or Assembly Member Gail Pellerin, and they're always fascinating because they also have the inside scoop. So I love it when they come on. And I was really surprised the first time our bird expert came on. Jeff talks about birds for 15 or 20 minutes.
I love birds.
I was not anticipating being so interested in what he would talk about. I said, we're going to hear about birds. And it was fascinating. And maybe it's because he's so enthusiastic and knowledgeable about it that he just makes it interesting. But now every time he's come on, I've been interested in what he has to say about birds.
Well, that's a big
I surprised myself.
Well, that's the biggest part about being a great guest is to be enthusiastic about what you're talking about.
Yeah. If you're both knowledgeable and enthusiastic, then it's going to be good. Almost whatever you're talking about.
Like what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because we're enthusiastic about it. I asked Bill before the show, are you excited? Do you get excited before your shows? And he said he kind of keeps calm and everything, but I got him riled up.
Yep. Well, and when Alex said, do you get nervous early on? I said, no.
Oh, no,
but there is something that made me nervous.
Nervous excitement.
I was asked to help by someone to whom I could not say no at church when COVID hit, and we started broadcasting the services online rather than having people in person. And there would be just a handful of people in the chapel, and there were 4 cameras set up, and 2 of the cameras were pan, tilt, zoom, and so there were 4 cameras to control or to select from, and 2 to control, and one person was doing it, and this person said, it was Sister Barbara. She said, Bill, will you learn to do this so you can get into the rotation and help out? I said, yeah, that made me nervous. I was really nervous because there's just so much going on. The process document ran like 14 pages or something. It was complicated, but I did it. I got in there and I actually did pretty well at it. But I was sweating doing that. Just because I knew the people watching, I was the only one with any control over how it looked and sounded.
But you did it.
I did it. Like I said, I was nervous doing it, but I did it. I reluctantly agreed to do it.
Probably like coming in.
No, but
I'm teasing.
like I said, I can't say no to Sister Barbara.
Yes, and you can't say no to Bettina either because
No.
you've always been so helpful.
I've never wanted to. Not yet.
But you have that type of personality, which a lot of people here, again, as I'm reminiscing here, and the community of SantaCruzVoice.com and bringing voices to speak about their love of the community and what they bring to the community is a very important thing. And I think it's so important now at this time, I feel, in our lives, to hear people's voices and to hear what they're doing, and even on a day-to-day basis, what different people do to make themselves happy, to be productive. Many of us want to feel that we're contributing, I do, to society, to not only my own quality of life, but other people's life, and to offer positivity. That's a big theme of mine, is to offer positivity.
Yeah, I can sense that. I listen to your show often enough. That comes through. That
comes through. And all the guests that I've had, that's not something that we necessarily discuss, but it's a positive theme, even if the topic isn't always as happy as I'd like it to be. Like the theme of the Volunteers Needed, which is an important story, but which I thought it's a short documentary film called Volunteers Needed, and I thought it was okay just to film about people who like to volunteer, as I do, but it's a whole systematic, horrible thing that their film centers in Nepal, but where it's actually trafficking and controlling children and abusing people.
That sounds like an unpleasant topic.
It's an unpleasant
but
topic.
People are doing good around it.
But people are doing good around it, and I felt proud to bring Barack Laub and his fellow filmmakers on the show, on Bettina's Buzz and on Santa Cruz Voice, to let that be something to talk about, to inform people not to volunteer for those type of things, and to also reiterate the good causes that are out there for people who want to volunteer and do good on a broader scale.
Who's someone you would like to have as a guest whom you never have yet?
There's who I've never had.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? As you say that, when we were at the fair, just recently at the Santa Cruz County Fair, broadcasting, and I always like to buy souvenirs. So I bought this cup that has all these stickers of Santa Cruz on it, and it's got the screaming hand.
Right.
So, my little screaming hand fell off my straw of my cup, and I've been obsessed with it. So I said, look up who made the screaming hand, because I didn't know.
Yeah.
The artist, Jim Phillips, I believe, who did the screaming hand. So then I reached out and I sent an email to his son. His son's an artist too. So just as projecting as somebody that I just reached out to, that's somebody that I'd like to have as a guest. Someone that has
a good idea.
Local roots, and of course the screaming hand.
You want Jimbo or you want the son? I don't know his son's
Both
name.
The son. Jimbo's the son. And but that's somebody that the son I reached out to, and I think that would be interesting. There's a lot of history.
that person would have a lot to tell.
And who else would I like to have as time goes on? I would like to have Alex Winter as a guest.
I don't know who that is.
Lost Boys. He was in Lost Boys. Alex Winter was in Bill and Ted with Keanu Reeves. But you know that I would like to have. He seems accessible, or as my mom says, the word approachable. So he's a guest in the future I'd like to have, and the list goes on and on.
Yeah, good. Well, do it. Go for it.
I'm going to.
Excellent.
And I'd like to have Rosemary as a guest. I've wanted, and quite often through our Slack, our inner communication channels here at SantaCruzVoice.com, we have an inner communication channel called Slack, and I've asked different people to be guests, and I will continue. Like Rosemary, I would like to have a guest. Christopher Carr was a great guest. He was on Bettina's Buzz, and he was fun to have.
Sure.
So it's always nice to bring different voices out of their time zone when they broadcast and bring them in, I feel, to my time, to my world. And
I'll bet, doesn't your daughter coach track?
She coaches track. Right now she's finishing up the girls' flag football at Seaside High School.
Now see, that would be an interesting topic. They didn't play that sport when I was in school.
Right,
I would
it's
be
new.
interested in hearing someone talk about that.
Well, she's always on my list to as I write her name again. Always on my list. She's a great guest. She does a lot of things for the community, and yes, she's a coach at Seaside High, the girls flag football, and she's into her third season, maybe even the fourth. I can't keep track of coaching track and field.
Yeah.
At Seaside High, the Spartans. They do really well. She enjoys it.
Flag football will become more popular as people get worried about concussions more with the tackle football.
It would be. She herself played flag football when she was at the International School of Monterey. They had flag football there, and she really enjoyed it. So,
when we were in school, they did do it once a year. Powder puff, they called it, football. And they had uniforms, and the girls played flag football. I remember that now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember when I was very young, we were living in Korea, and my brother played flag football. And that's when I was first, I thought it was the coolest thing, the way they play and dodge. And even, of course, my brother Michael was very good, of course. He was a very good athlete. But that's when I was first exposed to even knowing what flag football was. But it's a very good sport.
So how did you happen to be living in Korea? Was there a military connection?
Yes, I'm a military brat. Military
brat. Was it a parent who was in the military?
My father was in the military, yes.
Okay, so you lived in Korea. How long did you live there?
About 2 years. I was 11, 12, a long time ago. But yeah, that was
a great experience.
Time. Oh, I loved it. I love Korea.
Did you learn any Korean?
Yes. But don't get me started.
Oh, really?
But I know komsob니다.
What is that?
I think that's how are you? How are you or how are you? komsob니다 or what's your name? And then 이리와 is hurry up.
이리와.
And 이쁘다 is pretty.
이쁘다.
Yeah, 이쁘다.
Say the hurry up one again. 이리와.
이리와.
That seems useful.
Yes.
이리와.
이리와. Yeah, you hear.
Okay.
But yes, I have very fond memories of living in Korea. I liked it very much.
Yeah, I'm envious. It sounds terrific.
Especially when we'd get out of school early because the communists were dropping paraphernalia down from, they'd fly over and it would be like, okay, kids, you have to, go home, and we'd have to walk through the field. And it was just an experience. It was,
oh, wow.
It was exciting.
What was something good to eat when you lived there?
Well, I wasn't a fan of bulgogi or kimchi. No, I wasn't a fan of Korean food at the time, but my dad was, and he loved it. So, but I loved the culture. I loved the people. They were always so kind, and so good memories.
That's terrific.
Yeah. Yes. But as a military brat, we traveled all over, and one of my favorite places has always been here, right here on the Monterey Peninsula. My dad did two tours in Vietnam, and because my mom is a local to the Monterey Peninsula, we ended up staying, in Marina.
Okay.
And the family stayed in Marina while my dad went off to Vietnam, and so I just have had an affection for this area since I was a child. So I'm very fortunate to be here now, retired and here, and living in Marina, and having a voice on The Voice.
Very understandable.
So what are you going to do the rest of the day, Bill?
Let's see. I will be doing work around the house until probably time. You know what? I usually go for a walk after church, but it's getting too dark. Maybe I'll go for my walk before that.
Yeah, fall is definitely in the air.
I should give that up now. Then I'll go to church at 5 o'clock.
Because you wake up in the mornings and it's cold. It's actually chilly.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
The days are getting, we're still over 11 hours, but not by much.
And we're getting close to time to vote.
We are getting close to time to vote.
Very close, just a couple weeks.
Did you look up where people are going to do that?
I started looking up, and then I realized that we weren't streaming, so I had to double check that. So
people will know where because their ballot will tell them.
Their ballots will tell them, but it's an exciting time for our country. Elections are always exciting times. We, as Americans, hope and always wish for change.
Where's your polling place?
Well, I'm going to mail in my ballot, but we always go to Marina Library, which is close to my house there in Marina, and we're going to have a little voting party. One of my recent guests, Blanca Zalazula, says people should have more like voting parties and just get together as units and families to vote, which is something my mom, Stern, and I have done since we've been living together again for the past years, just always putting our heads together. And so we're going to be voting together, have our own little voting party. So I'm very excited for that. And
my preference is to go to the polling place. I just enjoy doing it.
I used to enjoy doing it, yes, to go, but now I just vote at home and go put my ballot in the box. But I do put my ballot in the box.
Oh, good. Well, let's see. Mine is either the temple right by Cabrillo College, a little white church down on State Park Drive, or a church across the freeway from there on State Park Drive. It kind of rotates. Although, I guess now you can go to any place. Hasn't that been true for a couple of years?
Yeah, you can. Well,
I think now you don't have a polling place. You just go to any polling place.
But the main thing is to vote.
Yeah, that's true, however you do it.
Because it is your voice.
Yep.
And use our voice.
Yep. We're
all the time.
Lucky to have it.
We're lucky to have a
voice. Those people dropping confetti on you school kids, they don't have that
voices.
Voice. No, they don't.
No. It's extremely important to use our freedoms.
Yeah, you probably have a better appreciation for it, for having experienced that.
Well, that's one thing. I don't feel I've taken it for granted, but sometimes having different guests, like, again, speaking of volunteers needed in Barak, or people who have really traveled extensively to other countries, like Sarah, artist Sarah, who was on my show, and Myra, who have traveled. And during their conversation being on Bettina's Buzz, they talked about how they've been to other countries where freedoms that we here sometimes take for granted are just not there. So it's nice to be reminded. So I want to remind everybody who's listening, don't take your freedoms for granted.
Yeah, good point.
Every day, your choices are yours to make, and you're free to do them.
Yep. Use it or lose it.
And enjoy good music. What's some of your favorite music?
You know what I enjoyed, and this is silly, is when I'm doing the operating, when you're doing a remote, is the silly Buzzy Bee songs I found. I found about 3 of them.
I like those. When you...
Just goofy kids things.
But who do you like to listen to?
We heard the Brandenburg concertos yesterday for the music that I play at the breaks, and that's an example of Baroque music. And I like to listen to Baroque music at my job when I'm just doing some repetitive thing and I want to put some music on. Actually, that's not true if it's a thoughtful thing I'm doing. For the repetitive stuff, I put on disco. So I'm either listening to Baroque or disco. Yeah, I often have some repetitive physical motion things I'm doing. I was doing that yesterday, taking a product, folding it, putting it in a bag, putting in a instructions for use symbol, putting a label on it. So I'm just moving. I'm to those of you listening, I'm gesturing a lot with my hands back and forth.
Yeah,
and if I put on disco and if I turn it up loud, it gives me energy to do that a little bit better.
Well, when you say disco, who will you listen to? Donna Summer?
It's it's 70s mostly, and you can find lots of streaming disco stations online. It's just free music, and I just put it on, let them play what they want to play. And yeah, it's stuff I remember, old 70s disco songs.
We had some of the best music. Probably every generation says that, but Bill, I think we had some of the best music. Even though there's wonderful artists now. I mean, I love Kehlani and Beyonce and
you know, you say every generation says that, but I think 60s and 70s and 80s music was unique in a way that they haven't matched since then, because I see, you know, someone's having an 80s party playing 80s music, and I don't see people having 90s parties. Do you?
No.
So, although every generation may say that, I don't think it's equally true for all generations.
Well, they might call it a different thing.
Yeah, I'm clearly biased, but...
well, I was just thinking probably every generation just thinks their generation was better at music or better at expression.
You're probably right.
Nicer lyrics. That's how quite often I think about our generation, the lyrics, especially lyrics about women.
I think it is what I said then, that everybody says it. It's just less true for some than others, and that is showing my bias, because maybe it's not less true. I just like the music from my youth.
When you're stressed, is there an artist or a type of music you like to listen to?
Baroque music is my favorite.
Calms you down.
For that sort of thing, yeah. But I'll listen to all different types at different times, almost. Let's see, I told you there were 2 types I don't listen to. I don't listen to heavy metal, I don't listen to reggae. With that exception, I probably listen to just about everything. I'll listen to bluegrass music, I'll listen to classical music, I'll listen to rock and roll, country. Yeah, almost everything.
Cowboy Carter. That's a good. I'm in a Beyonce mode now, and
I heard
concerts.
Tammy Wynette live at the Cow
Wynette.
Palace. Yeah,
Really?
a band my uncle drove the bus for, and he occasionally sang with them. They opened for her, so we drove up to Oakland and listened. It was a good concert.
Well, Sir and I will be going to see Kehlani in San Francisco in a couple of weeks, early November, so I'm looking forward to that. And always looking forward to good music. And I love to be around people when there's a good energy, and there's always good energy at concerts.
See, I don't keep up. I don't know modern popular music people much.
And the Catalyst always has good music, local bands and good music. We saw Keanu Reeves there not that long ago.
I've seen a lot of people there, and my favorite was, what was it called? The Zazu Pitts Memorial Orchestra.
Zazu Pitts.
Really good dance music. So we'd go dance and dance.
There's always something going on.
Yeah, she had a lot of horns in her band.
Horns are good.
Horns and saxophones, yeah.
Horns and saxophones. Horns are really good. Horns, I think, are something that a lot of times people they take for granted how much a horn can add to music.
Yeah, there was some Michael Jackson tribute band that had a whole bunch of people. It had like 4 different singers, or maybe 5, and they had a lot of horns too. And it's just such a good sound. They're fun to listen to.
You know, a lot of people like Harry Connick Jr., for example, but I didn't really decide that I liked Harry Connick Jr. until years ago. I saw him at the Monterey Jazz Festival.
Yeah.
And he was on stage with Trombone Shorty, and they jammed. I've
really?
totally changed my mind about Harry Connick Jr. So, okay, we're going to wrap up Bettina's Buzz.
Okay.
It's been a great show because it happened.
Yeah.
And I'm always glad when Bettina's Buzz happens. I
Thanks,
always
Serna.
enjoy. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for listening. I always enjoy sharing this hour with you. Thank you very much again, Bill, for coming in and spending time with me and helping me make sure my show runs. And with
You're up there now. You're on demand.
We're up there. And be sure to listen to Bill and Rosemary Monday mornings.
6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday. And stay with us all week long.
Oh, yeah. It's all good.
And check out our website and our social media. God, I had such fun looking at Facebook yesterday, our Facebook, and seeing Bettina's Buzz and different guests I have on.
Good.
Frank, my beekeeper friend. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.